It's your boy Deuce Third Blood, Focus Entertainment LLC, mobbing with F.A.M.E TV. Let's get it.
Philly F.A.M.E. Alright, what's up with you, good brother? First and foremost, man, how you doing, man? What's up with you, man?
You know, I'm just working, man. Appreciate you giving me an opportunity to promote my brand, get myself out here, man. You know, shout out to Philly. Philly, my second home. So.
Yeah, so you from Pittsburgh, know what I mean? So you in Philly right now, but you came there from Pittsburgh, know what I mean? So
for sure.
Know what I mean? You been to Philly a couple times. You tied there with a couple folks from Philly and all that. We'll get into that too. But let's get a little bit into I want to touch on a little bit of the similarities and the differences you see since you've been out here, know what I mean, back and forth. What's the difference between, for somebody who don't know, who never been to Pittsburgh, describe what Pittsburgh in comparison to Philly,
Pittsburgh is more like Midwestern, you feel what I'm saying? So it's still on the East Coast, but Pittsburgh's the west side of PA. So we're more closer to Ohio, Detroit, and Chicago and all that. Philly's more East Coast. You get a New York and a Jersey vibe out here. But, you know, when I was locked up, I always was a fan of rap. So when I was locked up, I said, go to the ciphers. Niggas used to spit some heat. I'm like, damn, fucking get inspired. So, but I always was hot, though, in my city where I was from. I always had a buzz. But I was in the streets, too. So I got jammed up and ended up having to do a bid.
All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna get to that. Let's, how is the rap scene out there with the rap coach? Obviously, y'all got, a couple rappers out there that had a name and that got a name. I actually did an interview with Hardo a little minute ago and shit. Shout out to Hardo. I did a joint with him a minute ago. You got Wiz. You had Mac Miller. I mean, so there's a couple artists that made a name from there. So what's the rap scene like out there?
Oh, it's lit right now. In its own way, for what I'm saying. I feel as though it could be more unified. If we came together and start working together, we could be bigger than what we are. But there's definitely artists out there doing their thing. You got my man Gutter F.A.M.E doing this thing. He been producing a lot of my beats. You got Jimmy Wabo. You know what I mean? Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, Wabo. Yeah, Wabo.
His mom's on my Instagram page.
Shout out to his mom. I actually did an interview with her too. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she showed me some love. She shouted me out. You got Boaz, S Money.
Is it like blogs and radio stations? How is it set up out here? Out here you got pages like mine and different platforms. So do Pittsburgh got stuff like that out there?
Yeah, you got Grind Mode 412. You got Pittsburgh TMZ. You got F.A.M.E. That's the main radio station out there. But a lot of us, man, we get hit like I said, there's not really too much Pittsburgh unity as far as the rap scene. So it's majority of us make moves, stack our bread, and go other places and invest into ourselves.
Got you. All right, so what's what as far as what describe for the area of Pittsburgh? What part of Pittsburgh you from?
I'm from the east side, East Hills Projects.
Okay, so explain what your come up was what your upbringing was your household and family life and stuff like that, and your neighborhood, your community.
I'm the oldest out of 5 kids. So, my responsibility started early. I had a childhood. I wasn't starving. I wasn't down bad. But I had to learn how to be a man early. You the oldest out of 5 kids. You learn how to become a dad early.
So it wasn't your pop wasn't there, just mom?
My mom was married. Not to my biological dad, but...
So you had a stepdad.
Yeah. But shout out to him, man. He did his best. But every man gotta fend for himself eventually.
Alright. So at what age, I know you say you got in trouble, got in the mix and all that. So at what age did you first jump out there and start getting active in the streets and all that?
When I fully started getting involved in the streets, I was 15. But your street ties start from the time you're born. If you grow up in the hood, it starts off you being young, running with your homies, skipping school, knocking on people's doors, running and all that. It starts young. So by the time I was 15, the people I was out, I hopped off the porch with, we've been together all our life, so it wasn't really like nothing new.
Alright, got you. So, y'all running around doing y'all thing, and part of your name, you got blood in it. So, Pittsburgh, y'all got the gang culture out there as far as like Crips and Bloods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So can you speak on, because Philly ain't really, we got gangs and stuff now, but it's not like Crips and Bloods. It's more like as far as like your block, your neighborhood and all that. So speak on, the gang culture out there in Pittsburgh.
I mean, it's kind of watered down now, especially for me, because I'm a little bit older, but it came out there late 80s, early 90s. Dudes was going to the West Coast getting their packs, coming back, LA, shout out to LA. LA's real influential. Like, you go out there and link up with the right people, they put you on, get you some money, get you the pack. But you're gonna have to be a part of a hood. That's their environment, that's their culture. You're gonna have to be affiliated with somebody or something in order to survive out there. So you can go out there regularly and you're gonna come back something, because that's how it is. So it spreads. OG go out there, he come back with the bag, he got the work, you feel what I'm saying? Who's not gonna follow the person with the bag and the work in the hood? That's just common sense. OG come back blood, he turned the whole hood blood. Everybody getting money, everybody strapped up, everybody doing their thing. So it becomes generational. And some people be born into it.
Alright. So how the way y'all Joe moved, was y'all like how Cali was, like when it first started, like it was Crips versus Bloods. They ain't associated Bloods, they ain't fuck with Bloods, they have Blood. I mean, yeah, Crips and Bloods ain't fuck with each other, they separated. So was it like that for y'all? Did y'all associate with, how did y'all do it out there?
I want to set the record straight. Pittsburgh was the first city on the East Coast to ever gangbang. Before there was New York, before there was Jersey, Pittsburgh was the first city. And the way it is out there, it's by neighborhood. So that's what I'm saying. Like when I say I was hopped off the porch, I was already gang affiliated and didn't even know it. Like my mom and them, all her homies, their generation, that's what they was into. So it's passed on to us. Next thing you know, 4 or 5 generations, they're screaming something. They don't even know what they're screaming just because they just been around it all their life. So you got different neighborhoods, like where I'm from, the East Side, East Hills. That neighborhood is blood. Then you got Homewood Crips, you got Lincoln Avenue Crips, you got Larmer Hoods, you got Wilkinsburg Hood. So it's like every neighborhood has its own individual set and code.
Gotcha. So fast forward, you say you started really getting deeper in it, like at 15, that's when you was more so like, really deep in it as far as, so at 18 you said you had a nice little way as far as your name in the city, and you had a nice little way with the music.
Yeah.
And then when you turn 19, you actually get booked. So
yeah.
So speak on, that those couple years that were going from 15, getting older, maturing in it, and then as you get in your wave, then you get booked.
It's a fast life, so it's like, you getting money, you getting active, you packing pistols. And, it's typical street shit. So it's like, sooner or later, moving like that, you're going to get booked. You can't stop it, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like, by the time I was 19, I was like waist deep in the streets. I got hot, they started watching me, and I had to sit it down, but I'm glad I sat it down, because at that time the feds started watching my neighborhood. And fast forward 6-7 years later, everybody out there started getting indicted. My uncle's doing a 25-year sentence right now in the feds. Bring my uncle, but you butcher.
So you said, at 19 you got caught up, this was back in 06, you got caught up with a gun and some work. And you ended up doing how long for that?
A total of 12 years.
So you sat for a total of 12.
Yeah.
So briefly describe, based on you're a young boy, you was a teenager going into manhood. Describe that describe that experience growing up in there, becoming like a full grown man, in that situation. What was that like for you?
Oh, you gotta be 10 toes down, man. Ain't no sucker shit tolerated at all. you gotta be about business. You gotta stand on business, because if you don't, niggas will try you. And if you don't stand on business, niggas will keep trying you. And they'll try you so much that even eventually, if you do move out, it's too late. You already labeled a sucker, so it's like you gotta be about business.
And you was actually upstate, I mean, at Housedale for most of your time, I mean, and you was locked up with some Philly guys, and you actually got one of your guys with you right here, I mean. So, I just want you, bro. We gonna bring bro in real quick, you know, cause he's sitting here with you. I mean, we get the. I mean, like, go ahead, introduce yourself to the people real quick.
Yo, man, you already know it's your boy Hadiot. Let's just say go, man. Teammate, you already know SMS, man.
All right, so you from North, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
So you had ended up going up top. I mean, at the same time, bro was up there. Y'all end up linking the kick. So speak a little bit on that experience. I mean,
so actually, he had got kicked out of Housedale and ended up in Rockville. I got sent to Rockville, so that's why I met him at Rockville. But pretty much like he was quiet. He kept to himself, but you could tell he wasn't like you could tell like you ain't want to really like fuck with cuz, like he might tip. He had one of them looks like you ever meet a nigga, you just be like, cuz look like he might tip on something. Let me just let him bitch. You know what I'm saying? But he would see us rapping up there, like everybody be in the ciphers in the yards and all that shit. I was one of them niggas rapping in the yards and shit. So you know, he Muslim as well too. So you know, so we would talk at Jumu'ah and everything. We just got to know each other just on a just you know what I'm saying, on a personal level, and basically through Islam, feasibility lab. You feel me? So. You know, we got to talking. I told him I do music. He said he want to get into music. He be doing music shit too. So I just gave him a little bit of the knowledge that I knew pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And linked him with some good folks that I know, like Fire Chick. Shout out Fire Chick, aired out radio. Had my man doing the tour, bus tour, joint affiliate. Like first time they ever did it. You feel what I'm saying? He just followed up with the leads that I gave him pretty much. And I seen he was consistent. So why not fuck with a nigga that's willing to work? Like he putting in his own work. You feel me? Like you could bring a horse to the water, can't make him drink type shit.
Facts.
Like I'm still booked. He came home like, what you came home like 2-3 years before me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we correspond, he sending the letters or whatever. I'm giving him lines, go ahead. And he following through and having his own line. So, you know, when I come on, I'm like, damn, all right, bet. Like, you working, we gonna work. Like, and that's what it was. So it was genuine because, like, we built, like a friendship off of Islam, like, you know, and just being, like, just trying to make sure we both can make it out them balls. You feel what I'm saying? Because some niggas be losing focus in that joint because they be testing the shit out you in that joint.
Fact.
You feel what I'm saying? So you got a good brother. I mean, y'all talking, y'all keep each other sane in that joint. It's always a good move. You feel what I'm saying? Right. That's how that played out. You already. Right.
And go ahead and plug your gram and shit. Like you say, you do music and shit.
Oh man, you know, you already know, man. Hadiot, man. HAITIOCK, man. That's it, man. SMS, you already know. 2600 Team Main Apple Street, man. Free Hollow too,
yeah,
man.
Free Hollow.
He on
man.
his way, baby.
Yeah.
Big, you mean Wake Giant SMS, man. You already know how that shit go. Haitian blood, you already.
Early. So back to Broski, you know what I mean? So you was locked up with some Philly guys. So I want you to briefly experience, I mean, outside of bro, I mean, briefly describe your experience with, I mean, encountering some niggas in Philly, I mean, that you from Pittsburgh. It's a whole bunch of Philly niggas in there. I know some niggas from Pittsburgh in there too, but it's a whole bunch of Philly niggas and niggas from other places too. So describe that encounter and what that was like, meeting Philly niggas and rapping and all that shit.
I was up Housedale with OBA C-Dot.
Oh yeah, right.
Shout out to C-Dot, yo. I fuck with C-Dot, man. I used to burn ciphers down and just walk off. Like, man, go on ahead and do y'all. Like, but he was one of the dudes that inspired me too. And like, I respected him because he was super humble at the same time. So you didn't even know he was who he was until you came out in the world. Because a lot of people be in jail, man, pump faking. Oh yeah, I was doing this. I had 100 keys. And you see these dudes in the street, they be dirt balls. They don't be who they like, oh man, like you was talking all this and you wasn't even who you said you was. So like I respected that about him.
Alright. And what about the like, cause you said before you went down, you was getting your wave. Know what I mean? You was just getting the wave in the streets and in the music. So when you got locked up, you really locked in and started focusing more so on that and the business side of music, not just rapping. Cause like I started a label, so I ain't just come home on like just a rapper type time, like I'm on label and I mean on the business side. So speak on that, like get on the rap shit and then coming home with it.
Well, like I said, I did a total of 12 years. So like my first, I did 7.5 because I was up there spazzing out. So I came home, I was still young minded. So I knew I wanted to rap and I pursued it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I caught a pistol case a year later, and I had to max out because I sat in jail fighting the case. So they basically gave me time served, but the parole board made me max out. But I'm gonna keep it 100, man. I was already like fed up. I'm like, yo, I ain't got no more jail beds in me. You feel what I'm saying? So I did what the average person wouldn't do. I made myself uncomfortable. I ain't buying no TV. I ain't buying no tablet. I was in there straight books. Books, library, gym, yard, Islam. Dudes thought I was crazy. I'm like, listen, I'm not coming back to jail. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get myself together and go home and be successful. So I started just reading books. Read books on the industry, how to, industry, LLCs, accounting books, all that. Anything that had something to do with building and growing, I was into it. So I came home and like my man said, man, I follow suit. The knowledge is no good if you don't use it. So I took what I learned and I applied it. But it took time though. Like I've been home 4 years. It started off slow for me. I've been putting it in, but it started off slow. And I had financial crisis as well. This take money, man. I don't want y'all to think just cause you nice and you hot that you just gonna know. This is a business, man. Like you gotta have your money together, man. People wanna know if you serious, if you really gonna put your money where your mouth is. Like I just had Kiss come at me the same way. Shout out to Jada Kiss.
Right, yeah, I was gonna get to that too. Yeah, Kiss had posted you up on this joint, on the page and all that.
He like, it was good, fam. I'm like, I'm chilling, man. I see you putting that work in with that bag. Like, I'm like, what?
Straight like that.
Like, man, my bag's secure, man. What you got going on? Shout out to Kiss. He was fair. He didn't want to. You said you said you're an unsigned artist, so I'm not gonna tax you. I'm gonna give you a price that we can both work with. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, I respected that. Shot him some bread. He posted my reels on his IG, and it went viral too. You got me about
that was a good look.
Yeah. And Joel Santana.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. The Santana John, seen the post for the Santana John too.
Yeah.
So you was on the that playlist, I believe it was a playlist or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good look too. So I want to jump back a little bit and speak a little bit on your actual, because you touched on this some, but I want you to elaborate a little bit on it too, like your transition coming home, because you did a nice amount of you did in a couple different stretches, but by coming home and trying to transition like your final time and say, man, I ain't coming back to jail. What was that transition like coming home? Like you say, you got to start from ground zero, world different, a lot of shit different. So what was the transition like? You say you had to start off slow. So briefly touch on what was that like for you? Like some of the stuff you had to go through, some of the stuff you had to deal with when you first came home and try to get back acclimated to the world. This was like back in 2019, right? When you came home. Yeah, so that was a couple years ago, 4 years ago.
Well, I'm going to touch on when I first came home. When I first came home in 2013, it was a bit of a struggle because, like I said, that's when the feds came out there. Like, Pittsburgh used to be an active city. I'm talking about, like, you could ride through every neighborhood. Dudes is out, females is out. It's not like that no more. The feds came up there and swept everybody. So it's like, and then, you done did time. A lot of your homies died in the process. They moved to different cities and states. So when I came home, I was kind of lost because I didn't have the support. So it was hard for me to like adapt and adjust to what was going on. So I ended up going back into the streets, and that's how I caught another case. But when I came back home, this trip, I was a little bit more focused. I had the Dean on my side, so I was a little bit more humble. I was a little bit more calm, you feel what I'm saying? I was a little bit more patient, and I was focused. So the first thing I did was get a job immediately. And as soon as I got my first check, I went right to the F.A.M.E station. Like I was serious. Like I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go broke, investing into myself and getting myself heard. But it was a little struggle. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to go out of town. I wanted to party. You feel what I'm saying? But now I'm out of that stage. I just had a baby boy too. So when you have kids, your perspective on life changes a lot because you understand you're not just responsible. I got 2 kids actually, But you know, it's kind of different when you sit there and you watch your son be born and you get to hold him bare skin to skin, and it's kind of different. So it's like, all right, I gotta really get on my game because now I got a whole nother life depending on me. And I can't just give up like, man, I'm done. Like, nah, that's your son. You feel what I'm saying? Your son, your kids is a forever priority. I don't care if they're in their 20s. Like, that, you're still their father. They're still going to look up to you. So it's like, I got to move accordingly and be the best example I can for my kids. You feel me?
Oh, shit. So now let's get into, you know, what you got going on with the music. Know what I mean? What you currently working on, what you got coming up, what you got already out. I mean, plug everything you got going on.
I mean, I released the album 2 years ago called Mistakes and Lessons. That's on all platforms. I mean, Deuce Third Blood, 2-3 or D Blood, all one word. That's on all platforms. Before I uploaded it, you know, I took it back to the streets. You know, I like to be active, man. I'm a hustler. Like, I like to meet people. I like that hand-to-hand exchange. You feel what I'm saying? So I took it out there and started selling CDs again just to get some extra bread in my pocket because I didn't want to go back to the streets. And with over time, I think I made about like 8-10 bands out the trunk. So that right there motivated me more. Like, oh, there's really some bread in this. You feel what I'm saying? But that also taught me, like, man, ain't nobody gonna give you shit. You gotta really go out here and grind, man. Like, they don't care if you're hot. What is you doing? Like, is you working? Is you promoting? You doing shows? You traveling? Like, they want to see what you got to offer because you're not the only one doing this. So you gotta put yourself in a different lane. And sometimes I struggle with that too. Like, man, what I'm gonna do different? How I'm gonna move different? What could I do to set myself from the average rapper? And you know, I like to grind. I like to go chase that money.
All right. So on that note, go ahead and plug your social media platform and anything else you want to plug. Let people know how they can follow you, stay updated, check out your music, you know, YouTube, whatever you got. Like, let them know.
Oh man, 23rd Blood on all platforms, man. YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. You feel what I'm saying? Instagram at Mr. Pyru Blood. It's all one word. And tap in with your boo.
So anything else you want to touch on, you want to speak on, address, clarify, let the people know before we get up out of here, man?
Yeah, man, you know, to anybody, you know, all the up and coming rappers, man, artists, entrepreneurs, man, just grind. Educate yourself, man. Educate yourself so can't nobody play with you because this music industry is just like the streets. If they feel like you a clown, they gonna play you like one like you. So it's like you gotta really be about business and stand on business and know what you're doing because they come for blood, man. Like they really like niggas is hungry out here. Like if they feel like you a lick, they gonna treat you like a lick. So you gotta like really know what you doing and have that paperwork behind you too. And it's crazy because there's be people out here, yeah, I manage you this, that, or third, X, Y, and Z. And do you get to fucking with these dudes and you ask like, yo, where your paperwork at? Oh, I ain't got no paper. You ain't got no paperwork behind you. So you trying to finesse it. So it's like, yeah, man, you know, it's a upside to it and it's a downside to it too. So make sure you educate yourself, get that paperwork behind you, get some lawyers behind you, get some publicists behind you, and make sure they for you.
All right, man. On that note, we signing out, man. We live from Soundmaster Studio. Shout out to V. For you guys, something you want to say? You want to plug the joint real quick, man? Let people know where you at. I mean, tap in the studio time.
Records. I mean, Philly Fame TV. I mean, you know what it is, man. We're working. I'm saying.
All right, go ahead and plug the IG, man.
Soundmaster Records at IG, Twitter, TikTok, and follow F.A.M.E.
Now on that note, man, we signing out. Philly Fame TV, man. We out of here.